All right, well, welcome everybody. This is Craig from Global Ed Talk and GEG West Jakarta, and we're privileged to have with us Stephen, who's the co-leader of GEG West Jakarta and an amazing technologist and blogger extraordinaire. We've also got with us Hugo, who's part of our GEG team and teaches at Jakarta Intercultural School. Have I got that right, Hugo?
True, in Jakarta.
Intercultural School. Probably the most well-known and the highest-ranking school in Indonesia, if not one of the top private schools in the world. So very, very good to have you with us, Hugo.
Yay.
Thanks for being here. Awesome. And look, we've got two topics to share tonight. The first one is about the TED Ed clubs. Now, most of us have seen a TED Talk at one time or another. Hugo, have you been watching some TED Talks?
Yep, sometimes.
Pretty fantastic. When we got flooded over here in Jakarta, our school was closed for a day, and so what I did for my literature class and an English class, I stuck some links inside Google Classroom to some TED Talks, and then got them to answer some questions on using Google Forms, submitted their answers and some geographic information, and then we plotted it on my maps. And the TED Talks were really inspiring because they're short, they're snappy, they're visual, they're fantastic. So, Stephen, I believe you're the very first person out of 250 million people in Indonesia to launch a TED club. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe.
I know it's true. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so, Stephen, what I'm going to do is hand over to you. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And away you go. Obviously, people are only going to hear your audio, Stephen,
Sure.
once I start sharing the screen. So I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
Stephen, over to you.
All right. All right. You can go to my slide. TED Clubs. All right. Here is TED Clubs. If you have ever familiar with the TEDx talk before, it's actually kind of like similar program with that, but this is specifically designed for the students. So if you want to see that in the slides, you can start your own TED Clubs by clicking that link. Next. So TED Club, yeah, go with that. I'm going to explain you what is TED Club is all about. It's a flexible school-based program. So what I said, it should be at a school, and it's flexible program. You can adjust it in intracurricular program or extracurricular program. And it supports students in discussing, pursuing, and presenting their big ideas in the form of short TED-style talks. So we are going to train them how to present, like with the TED-style talks. We're going to get the secret. If you see the pictures there, so that's how we want our students to be. Next slide, Craig. Next slide. Okay, the purpose of our TED Club was not to create public speaker. We are not just like public speaking meetup, but we want to create empower students. We want to empower them to amplify their voice and the communities and beyond. So we want to amplify them and like encourage them to be a presenter, TED presenter. Next slide. So it's very simple to be a facilitator. If you're a teacher in a school, you can just easily click the link on the below at ted.com/clubs, and if you sign up there will be a process. They'll email you specific things, and you'll arrange some hangout also with them. You'll also arrange some like emailing all about your data, and after that, if you got approved, you can get all those materials. You can access facilitator resource like the worksheet, student handbook, teachers guide, everything is there. It's really simple and complete. Next. Then this is my story. Starting TED Club last year, as Craig said that I was the first one here in Indonesia to start, but I believe you can start it by yourself as well. This is our group, and I have like 15 students. I made it as part of after school program, so students choose to go into my clubs, and yeah, as you can see in the pictures, you can see it's actually 16 weeks according to the handout, but we can actually adapt it. We can make it like 20 weeks, 30 weeks. It's flexible, so it's up to you. So that is how our students present their their topics. So we train them how to form ideas and passion together. Yeah.
Okay, so Stephen, we lost you a little bit there. So you're just saying that it can be 16 weeks or 32 weeks long for a session, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So tell us about the age of your students. What subject were they with from a range of classes or just one?
So basically, it's an extracurricular program. So I teach like from junior high school from grade 7 to 9. But you can start it in high school, also in primary school actually. So age is doesn't matter.
And did you run it during school time or after school?
After school, but you can choose actually. You can choose.
And it was weekly?
Yeah, it's weekly meet up.
Okay. And during those times, were you watching TED Talks, or did the students go straight into trying to present their own? How did the sessions flow?
So yeah, there is a they watch the TED talk first. Then after that they design their own presentation. So we follow the guidelines there, and we train them how to create like from the book there you can see. Uh, there's a guideline book. There's a topic like exploring ideas, how to design presentations, how to organize your speech, everything. So we follow by each topic.
So when we look at these pictures of these are your students when they did their presentation,
Yeah.
it was as simple as having an LCD projector and a screen and then standing there and talking, yeah?
Yeah, it's actually around 3 until 4 minutes only, but we want to make the 3 until 4 minutes really inspiring like TED style talks. But it's not easy, believe me. Like forming the organize this speech and also designing the presentations, and the most importantly they amplify their own voice and own ideas and passions. That's the things that we want our students to present.
Awesome. And so for you, have you got a background in public speaking? Are you a trained professional speaker, or could anybody do this?
Well, anybody can do this. I don't have any special training. I just watch TED talks, and yeah, I think we can make this too. We can help our students to learn to be one of our TED speaker.
Great. And so in terms of technology, it's just having a projector, and it takes time to... Did you do a lot of rehearsing, like these teacher guidelines and student handbook? Is that all about planning out as you would when you're doing a speech? Like, is there the teacher guidelines give you all the tips of things you're focusing on with the student presentations and how to present better?
Yeah, that's right. I did like 3 times by recording them. So 3 times rehearsings, then final presentations. It's not easy.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, to make 4 minutes meaningful.
Did you record all of the students doing their presentations?
Yeah. We record it and we keep it as our learning. We track back and we saw how it going. So we evaluate them. We learn from what we have done.
Awesome. Okay. And so you finished your cycle?
Yeah, I just finished it last February, last month. So I just need to submit all the video. Then they will manage it and upload it in YouTube, I think. Because we have a consent form, so the student will sign that, so it can be published.
Okay. Now, as you know, I've just gone through the process myself as well.
Wow, cool.
School, and you inspired me to do that.
Thank you.
There were some steps in there that were new, obviously. TED clubs developing as a project or as an organisation, and so I had to do an online form that explained who I was. Then I got interviewed by the lady that's in charge of the TED clubs for this region, and I had to book a time where there was a group training conference online using another facility, not Google Hangouts. And so there was me, a lady from Latvia. Her class was there. It was in a late afternoon, and so they were live, I was live, and there was a lady from, I think, Saudi Arabia, an English lady from an international school, and the facilitator. And so she ran us through all of the steps in setting up the club, particularly focused on the use of the logo and really making sure that we didn't change the branding. That seemed to be a really important thing. So how did you use in your club? Did you use the branding or the logo at all?
Well, I just like print it out just pin it to my board.
Okay. So you didn't do T-shirts or banners or...
No, we keep it simple.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, it seems that people are really taking on board the idea of the TED clubs and doing them around the world. But you being the first in Indonesia,
Yeah,
hopefully
thank you.
many more.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a teacher who's watching this or who'll see this later and think this is something they want to do? What would you say?
I think first thing is like just be confident. Be confident to start your own, and secondly is keep it simple. I mean, like just keep it simple number. Do not have too many students join in a club. So just make it like simple group and make it simple. Start simple and yeah, encourage students to amplify their voice and passions. I think that's all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much, Stephen. Now, I've shared the links to this slideshow in the Hangouts comments, so everyone can click on this later on and see the links. I've also posted the links in the comments section so they can log on. It's not a very difficult process, is it, Stephen?
Yeah, it's very easy.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Stephen. We'll move on now with Google Certified Educator Testing exams.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so everyone who's watching now, we're going to move on and spend some time with Hugo from GIS. And there's three really strong and important parts of Google certification. You can be a Google Certified Educator, and you become that by sitting a series of exams. And we're going to cover one of those exams tonight, and Hugo will tell us all about it. The next stage is to become a Google Certified Teacher. And Stephen is actually one of the few in Indonesia who actually have achieved that honour. Stephen, do you want to tell us a little bit about that process?
Certified teacher?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, actually, you need to submit an application form. Yeah, and they will give the link to you. It goes using Google Form. You need to submit your experience and training on learning Google Apps and all edtech tools. Then they will require you to make a 2 minute video, I think, about your experience about using technology in your classrooms. And they will select like 50 people from each cycle, I think.
Right. And then after that, those people that are Google Certified Teachers can go on and be further certified to be a Google Education Trainer, which means you're listed inside a database that's published globally by Google, and then be called upon to provide training for schools and teachers and businesses, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tonight, really, we're going to focus on Google Sites. And just for those of you that aren't aware of how the exams work, there are 5 different exams inside the Google Certified Educator set of exams. Stephen's done this, I've done this, I believe. Hugo, you've done this as well?
Yep. I'm in the process of putting a screenshot. Hopefully it will help in the beginning, because this screenshot is showing how what do we call it looks like when we are running Google Sites within the school.
Okay.
Okay.
You've done the Google Certified Educator exams, Hugo?
Sorry?
You've done the Google Certified Educator exams?
Well, I'm doing now.
Doing now.
Oh, cool.
I'm really terrible in time for that.
Yay.
I have purchased for that, and then it seems like it says like 90 days expired. So I'm buying it, but not yet doing it.
Okay.
Hopefully next week.
Oh, very good.
Good luck.
This is the important thing that we need to let everyone know about.
It's really difficult.
Yeah, as it takes 80 minutes to do the exam. Sorry, forgive me, 16 minutes. So we've got 5 different exams, 60 questions in each exam. You've got 90 minutes time for each exam, and you must get over 80 correct when you do each of those exams. And so the Google Certified Educator exams, as you can see here, they cost $15 each. Now, if you're part of GEG West Jakarta, which is the team that Stephen and I are leading. You can attend some of the workshops that we're running to become prepared, do the basics exams, and then Google is very generously supplying some vouchers for educators in our GEG group to sit the exams. We really strongly encourage people to attend our workshops, attend our training series, and that's the whole purpose of tonight's hangout as well, to make sure everyone is going to be successful. So those exams, in terms of style, they've got multiple choice, true, false, and check box types of questions. The content of those questions will be theory or application, and they will be randomized. So even if you're sitting right next to someone who's doing the exam, the same exam as you, the questions will be in a randomized order, so be very different. So 90 minutes. The best way to do that is to prepare with some tips and some tricks and some strategy, and you can always search Google to confirm that your answers are correct while you're doing the exam. So right now what I'm going to do is bring back up my screen sharing, and I'm going to hand over the presentation to Hugo. So we'll just hand over to you now, and Hugo, very soon you should be live and you can run things.
Okay.
And you can share your screen. Share with us everything you've got. Over to you, Hugo.
So you can see me in in my children's bedroom.
Nice.
This is the place that I can be very peaceful. Okay, now we have the Google Sites. I have put a screenshot actually, but I don't know why I cannot use screen share with all of you. Ah, there you go. Okay, I have this.
Yeah.
So when you start as Google Sites within your school, actually because you are working with a, what do we call, under your school website and the Google, so you are going to see this. This is example of when you do the first time, then you will have people jumping together, make sites, and you will have all of this. Okay, so you have the some people already making things. However, this is the case in GIS that kindergarten, we have grade 1, and we have these two tablet and one-to-one resources and tech journey. They are separate things outside classroom. This is kind of resources for people to go. However, we limit, of course, when you are working with sites within your school, you limit the, what do we call, the audience. You limit public to only internal, those who have links or those really with a email account from your school. Okay, next when we see, okay, wait a minute. So when you go to, okay, I think this one, share, publish, and protect a site. This is really important in the beginning when you create a site, and you can say who can edit, who can view. This is the most important thing, because sometimes you are working with partners or subject teachers, specialists in our terms. So who can access this? And then if you share this to, for example, parents, maybe they can only view it because we don't want them to edit. So they can view it. For students, they can maybe edit, or they can, what do you call, submit task. I think limited task. Okay, and then next, when this is using our course calendar, I'll show you the calendar that I try to show you with this. Okay, wait a second.
So
Okay.
Hugo,
Yep.
just a question. So you're saying that you can share the site that you've created within the sharing and permissions with just your class or with the school or with parents, and you can decide whether you're sharing editing rights or the rights to just view, correct?
True, yeah. So the editing sites is, I think the first thing that they need to consider, they have, like if I'm a homeroom teacher, so I need to realize to whom that I will share my, what do we call, my site. Like this one, the example, these are the sites that I'm working for all people within primary level. So they can all the teachers, homeroom teachers from kindergarten to grade 5, they have access for my sites that I created. So they see grade 1 iPad, kindergarten iPad, apps, book creator, iBooks, all of them. So this is only for example, this site is only for kindergarten to grade 2. So then we are going to create, because I'm sharing this only for certain teachers. Other teachers from grade 3, 4, 5, they can access it, but they don't have a, what do we call, access to edit. So they can go to, they can browse, they can check, oh, this is the, what we call, the activities. They can go to tips and tricks, because sometimes they will use it. This site is really powerful for, what do you call, a rationale of what are we going to do after this. Oh, kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, they have come to this part, so grade 3, grade 4, grade 5 must be able to do different things. Okay, things like that. And then if you show this is the achievement from grade 1 compilation, things like that, so they can see that the progress. Okay, that's a bit of the showcase. But the most important, if we go to the slides, in this slide, the good thing is, like, you can go to your, what do we call, your drive. When you see your drive, you can upload everything from your drive. Okay, let me take it first. Okay, then I do screen share with this. Okay. Okay. This one, using sites to manage class. Google Site is actually an online portfolio. So all students is actually giving their pictures, their videos, their, what do we call, other files that they want to share within the sites. So beside the classroom teacher who manage the class, they have like sites that all the students subscribe. So the most important thing is, like, when they connect with their drive, they put things like pictures, videos, so when they, like, accidentally delete it, they still can go to drive. So this one is thing that we are doing. And then this one is really good, using sites to manage class. If sometimes we have the class that, especially grade 4 and 5, that they have discussions. This group discussion is actually really a thing that, what do we call, teachers especially can see how they are growing in their thought, in their ideas. But mostly the group, what do you call, group class discussion is made under the class site, not the student site. So the teachers start their class discussions, and then they will, what do you call, put their thoughts, their opinions using the class management. So this one, like if you see this one, almost the same class discussions. I'm very sorry that I cannot show you the showcase from class because we have a holiday week, so I only have limited access to some sites that I am managing. When I don't manage it, it's really difficult to access it. So this is almost the same. So we can moderate the class discussions, even if you want, what do we call, if you want to take over, you can do that. Okay.
So when you say moderate, Hugo, what sort of tools or what sort of things would teachers be doing if they're moderating a class discussion?
Excuse me, sorry?
What would a teacher be doing if they're moderating a class?
Oh, they can do the, you know, like if, for example, comments that they want to, what do you call, filterize first. So they can do that.
Okay, so making sure the comments are appropriate.
And then those who are invited, so not all people are invited. For example, you are only in for A, so only for A members that can go for that.
So it's like an online chat, or is it like listing comments?
It's almost the same if you start with, you do Moodle. For older people, older students, they do Moodle, so it's almost the same with that. But it is really I think more organized.
Okay, so it's like a forum where you can post a discussion and then people answer questions.
True.
Okay.
Okay, then administrative course quiz. I think it is almost the same. So they have this link to tasks, and then they have the, you know, like sometimes the date of the test of the quiz. It is really like only that day that they can do, or they have like a limited time. For example, 2 days or 3 days to submit it. Okay, then this one, to be honest, when I see this what do you call slides, I was like, oh, because we don't embed Twitter box, you know, we don't put the kids into Twitter. Maybe older students might do it, but for lower primary, grade 5, grade 4, we don't put this, but this is really important also. Surprisingly, I was thinking like, wow, this is interesting. So when I got these slides, I was thinking like, this is might be powerful for, I don't know, grade 8, grade 9. I don't know how parents will allow their kids to have Twitter.
So Hugo, I think the point of that is that in the Google Certified Educator Exams, which our people will be doing, one of the questions in there that may pop up is, can you embed content from another website? Twitter is one example. It could be a video site, it could be another blog site, it could be a news site. And by going to that other website, you can grab their widget or you can grab their code and you can put it into that box, into Google Sites. And so when our GEG people look at the website, our sites, which Stephen has created and Stephen manages, does a great job with that, you can see there's a Twitter feed down the right-hand side where there's the feed of people, certain blogging, certain hashtags and certain users are there. And so you can grab that code from any website that has an embedding code. So, for example, YouTube, when you can embed a video, similar thing. And you can just drop that box into any page on the sites.
Wow, this is really good then. Okay, I think this is like a, what do we call, a leak for me also. WikiLeaks for me before I'm facing the real test then. Okay, I think better if you have question and answers. If I cannot answer, then I will answer it.
Yeah, well, we had a couple of questions come through, Hugo. One of them is about giving permission for certain people to view certain pages on sites. So this is not site-wide. This is specific pages on a site. So can you restrict access? I believe Gusman asked this question. Can you restrict access to specific people on specific pages?
Oh, let me check. If I'm not really doing that because like all people like can access it.
Okay, so your permissions are set up so everyone within the organization can access it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, true.
Now, Hugo, do you look after the groups within your domain? Do you manage that?
The group?
Yeah, like groups of, say, these are the primary 5 students or the secondary teachers. Do you create those groups or does your system admin do that for you?
That was the system that already made. So, you know, like in our school, when we go over there, so it's already like I'm managing this certain classroom.
Hmm.
So it's already by, I don't know, by default from the IT. So as a teacher, I don't really know.
Okay, so from
You can help me with that. I don't know.
certainly. So the sites that we set up for our school at Singapore School, Kebun we had a site set up so that teachers could post homework on there, and then we. Sorry, I'm just going to recapture. So what we did is we set up a site where teachers could post their homework and the students could also do discussion like you were just talking about there as well. And so what we did is at an organizational level within Google Groups, we set up some specific groups. For example, in our contacts, we have an email address which is specifically for all of the teachers. Then we have an email address which we have for all of the students, for example, in primary 1. Or we have a wider email address which is all the students in upper primary. And so we have these groups of contacts and groups of users. Then from that, what we can do is we can give specific access to certain parts of the site to those groups. You get my point?
Mm.
Yeah. So certain pages, certain levels of the site, certain access can be restricted down. So initially when I first did it, I was very much a novice at this, Hugo. And so what I found is that everyone had access to everything and everyone could edit everything and everyone could comment on everything, and then unfortunately everyone could delete everything. And so what I found out is you can actually have page level permissions. And so what that meant is that we could then group all of our people, our students, our teachers, and set specific levels of permission on specific pages on the website. Now, Gusman's question was, could we actually have a password on individual pages? I guess what that means is if we sent out the link to that website with a password to that particular page to anybody, they could take that password and log on to that page and see the content. Now, Google Sites doesn't allow you to do that. You need to be part of the organization, and then you can give access to certain people within the organization right down to the specific pages. So, Gusman, I hope that answers your question there. Stephen?
Do you mind to see this? Maybe this one that you mean? Enable page level permission. If you go, I'm going to my page.
Yep, you're now presenting.
So when you go to your manage site and then you go to sharing and permissions to setting, and then you have this one.
That's correct.
Page level permissions. I think this one that I haven't used this one. So when I turn it on, okay, so I will go to invite people like this. Only this people can join this. Only book creator, I invite people only this one. Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's right. So you choose the
I
pages and then you invite specific people to be able to use it.
see. Okay. So, but
Good.
this one is only applicable within the what do you call organization sites. Is that true?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. So it's answering my curiosity as well then.
Very good. Look, what I'm going to do is go back to, just going to go back to our slides here to make sure that I'm covering everything that Stephen and I would like to cover this evening. So let me just share my screen again. All right. So Gusman, I really want to thank you for your questions that you gave us on that particular topic. Hugo, I really want to thank you for sharing with us what you're doing in terms of managing classrooms using Google Sites as well.
Thank you.
Really do appreciate you. Thanks very much for making it during your holidays too. Yeah, so I really appreciate that. Stephen would like to make sure that we all know about a photo walk which we've planned coming up during May 2015. So when you view our slides, and also we'll put this link into the comments section directly underneath our Google Hangout. If you're in West Jakarta or even in wider Jakarta and you'd like to join our GEG West Jakarta photo walk, please click the link, fill in the form. We are limited to, I believe, 20 people attending the photo walk. You need to have a camera with you which has location data and Google Maps on it. So I'll be bringing my Google Nexus phone with me, and we'll be taking photos and using Photosphere as well to create 3D panoramic pictures of different environments. There are 3 different choices on the photo walk, and we're asking you to vote as people attending the walk about what you'd like to see, what you'd like to do. And so there is a business walk, there is a traditional area walk, and then there's an urban or a town walk. And so you can choose, and you can also suggest other areas in Jakarta we could do our photo walk in. So please do have a look at our photo walk. And finally, if you're in West Jakarta or even wider Jakarta, you are most welcome to come and join us at our training series, which we list on our Google Sites. We always list it there, and I'll be putting the link to our Google Sites, which is run and developed by Stephen, and you can click on that link and see the workshops that we're running. So we've run already a really intense and fantastic workshop on Google Drive. So docs, forms, drawings, and slides and sheets. We've already run that workshop, and we had a large number come and join us. There was a fantastic session, and so if you'd like to come and join us in our upcoming one, it will be on sites. And one other feature of the exam, remember, the exam has a number of different components to it. So you've got Drive, Sites, Gmail, Calendar, and Chrome, and each of those are individual exams. So we'll be spending some time in our training series on that. So Stephen, I'm just going to hand over to you if you'd like to share anything with us just before we end. Over to you. Yep, I can hear you. Over to you, Stephen. Losing his connection there. All right. Well, look, everyone, I want to thank you for joining us. We've got Hugo, who's presented tonight. Again, thank you very much for your time this evening. We've also got Daniel, who joined us this evening. Daniel is an amazing guy who translated for me and also for Brandon from America. We did a presentation at a large Islamic school in West Jakarta a couple of weeks ago, and Brandon talked about Google Hangouts on air. Daniel translated on my behalf and on Brendan's behalf for about 3.5 hours. Absolute champion. So great he's here tonight. We've also got Rena has joined us, and Stephen.
Hi,
Hey,
Rena.
Stephen.
Hi, I'm back.
Fantastic. Stephen, I'm just going to hand over to you before we finish. Go for it.
Oh, what's first talk? What I supposed to talk?
Some words of wisdom just to finish.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us, and we're excited to have you. It's awesome to see every one of you to joining this. I know this is a new experience for some of you. Maybe this is new experience. I don't know, Hugo. Maybe this is your. I don't know how many times you're doing this. And for Rina and Daniel and Guzman, I know some of you are. This is our first experience for me as well. But I'm happy that we are learning together to yeah. I mean, like to share the good news, to share resource and everything. It's kind of have like I really appreciate your passion to learn. So keep it, guys. Thank you also, Craig, for moderating us. Sorry for my bad internet connection. I know everyone in Indonesia experience the same thing. So yeah, don't give up to learn, to try.
Awesome. Great, thank you, Stephen. And Hugo, I just want to say again, thanks very much for giving your holiday.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for doing the preparation that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for making me part of you guys.
Thank you so much.
No problem. One of the things that I think is really special about the GEG movement is that we've got teachers teaching teachers, and our most recent workshop series where we had 6 different teachers from 4 or 5 different schools all presenting on that day. It was not me, it was not Stephen. We had teachers sharing with teachers, and that was probably one of our highest rated events that we've run, just with the passion and the enthusiasm of the teachers that were there, and I think it was a great success. And tonight, having many of you visit us, and Hugo, you sharing, and Stephen, you sharing from your experience, just before we finish and just before we wrap up, just want to give a shout out. Stephen, you have inspired many people in Indonesia to pursue their own professional development. And I took a course online through Coursera because you told me about it. It was fantastic. I've shared it with my school. I've shared it with my fellow principals in our group about teaching character. And recently, when we had our student lead conference, we used some of the character growth cards as an assessment of how the students are growing in their character and share that with the parents. That's something we've never done before. Stephen, what course are you doing right now? What's coming up for you in terms of your online learning?
As an online learner, sorry, can you repeat your question?
What are you doing online with your MOOC learning?
Oh, I'm taking a lot of online professional development at Coursera. There are a lot of courses you can take there, like from virtual learning course. There are also like education and technology course. A lot of things that you can explore, guys. I learned all the Google tools and all edtech stuff in using online learning. Since I don't know, I feel like there is no such thing in Indonesia here, not yet, I believe. But yeah, this is really enriching experience because I can learn a lot of things from directly from the UC Irvine, a lot of good university, a lot of great, awesome resource and lecturers there, as you can see, Craig. And learning new things is really amazing because it's flexible. You can manage your own time and everything. Yeah, I learned to pace myself actually here at Coursera. I took like more than 10 course already, and see, this is me after taking a lot of course.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely inspiring. And when we went to the EdTech conference in December, if I remember correctly, last year, Stephen, you presented about making your own professional development, and the teachers were just blown away at the number of courses that you've done, the breadth of learning that you've done, and also the institutions that we have access to. So really encourage people. GEG is a great organisation to be part of, and also getting online with Coursera, MOOC, ed.com is another good one as well. There's just many MOOCs out there which have brilliant content from great people. So just want to encourage you all as we close tonight to pursue your own learning. Never stop learning. Keep sharing what you're learning as well. There's always someone else out there who needs to know what you know. So never be shy, always be brave, share what you know, and we'll all grow as a profession. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you again, Hugo. Thank you, Stephen. Hope to see you all again very soon. So I'm Craig from Globally Talk from GEG West Jakarta, and good night everybody.
Thank you. See ya.